Our journey on this earth will begin from the place where we will be born. If you had seen Attack on Titan or Shingeki no Kyojin, you are already familiar with one of the most beloved and complex characters who is known as humanity's strongest soldier. But why is Levi Ackerman not just physically strong? The story of Levi's life in this landfill began as he was also born in a place of this mysterious story. The first time he faced his family that was meant to be the safest place to grow up went wrong, and it went like this: the father that he never experienced having one. And the role and presence of the father was taken from him. He also lost the person who gave birth to him at a very early age, and maybe he carried the feeling of not being accepted all the time because of the way he entered this world, the feeling that could crawl into his mind every day and remind him that he was rejected even by his family. Growing up feeling this way must be terrible, mustn't it? Living in such an unlivable place at the age of 4 has a terrible effect, especially on a child. Imagine how defenseless we humans are as kids. We will receive and accept everything without any filter, without even knowing if they are good for us or not. Now think of that in such a situation. He lost the person who was his mother. She got sick and closed her eyes and never woke up, all in front of his eyes, and left him with a world full of grief. Until Kenny Ackerman, his uncle, entered the journey without revealing his identity, occupation, or motives.
名前は
Levi. ただの Levi.
And here was the first time Levi had been rescued from that destructive situation. The most crucial thing Kenny did for him was teaching him how to fight. In fact, the most important matter that existed in Ackerman blood was that Levi was taught how to defend himself by Kenny, and we can see how he truly was his savior. But maybe one of the highlighted parts of his personality was due to this case. Levi was left behind again, but this time it was his uncle. One day, like other days, I don't know which season or year and exactly where, but Kenny was out of sight. Many years later, Kenny mentioned why he couldn't be a father and left Levi when he saw that Levi could protect himself. Plus, what could Levi do at such a young age except fend for himself and teach himself that he could be left behind at any moment? Well, I think we did the same thing as kids whenever we experienced losing something. We learn to expect being left behind, and our unconscious will save these experiences. This is how a lot of our fears and defects are created. Even personality features have been shaped this way. Even if we forget some of the feelings we experienced completely, our unconscious will remember everything. The moral of the story is that all of this made Levi more independent. Besides living underground without sunlight, which caused illnesses in many people, and Levi's obsession with cleaning because of the immense dirt, his childhood traumas impacted his adulthood. As whole studies have shown us how trauma in early life can affect adulthood, Levi dealt with all the impacts. It's painful, isn't it? Now, let's go to Levi's friends. Farlan and Isabel. Friends that meant so much to him. Let us also consider that Levi is an introvert who doesn't express his emotions overtly, not with words, but with actions. He's a complicated character. Most of the time, you have to re-watch his actions. Maybe they seem weird or even wrong, but after reflecting, we realize they are actually right, which we will get to later. The same goes for his relationship with Farlan and Isabel. Maybe he isn't straightforward in showing his emotions. Even his reason for not wanting them to join him outside the walls was that he didn't want them to get hurt.
兄貴、なんでだよ。
俺たちはまだ本物の巨人を見たことがない。壁外も初めてだ。行って帰ってくるだけで精一杯かもしれん。俺一人ならなんとかなる。
そんな
つまり、俺たちには無理だってことか。
そうだ。俺の勘だ。
Eventually, we see that he did trust them, which leads us somewhere important. When they got out of the underground and were motivated to kill Erwin, Levi entered the exploration squad. Although we later saw how good Levi and Erwin's relationship became and what its foundation was, it was because of the abnormal Titan invasion that Levi lost Farlan and Isabel in that specific way. One of the rare moments when we saw Levi strongly express his feelings on the battlefield and how he slayed that Titan with sorrow and wrath. It happened again. He lost people important to him. It seems another moment where Levi grew stronger mentally and spiritually right then. Raining and foggy haven filled with dark clouds. Everything lost in the blink of an eye, and you aren't even given a moment to grieve. We'll see this again. In the end, the weather improved and the sun finally came out. Erwin said something deeply affecting to Levi, an effect that then went to Eren through Levi, showing the aftermath of this tragic story. Now, let's examine it. Erwin told Levi, "Only you survived." Levi wanted to attack and bring him down immediately, even telling him to his face. But Erwin already knew his plan. Here is the pivotal line. The first moment, Levi was impressed by Erwin.
よせ、後悔をするな。後悔の記憶は次の決断を鈍らせる。そして決断を他人に委ねようとするだろう。そうなればあとは死ぬだけだ。結果など誰にもわからないのだ。一つの決断は次の決断のための材料にして初めて意味を持つ。壁外調査は続ける。リヴァイ、お前も来るんだ。
Even with such anger, hearing Erwin's words, he accepted calming down and going with them. In the show, we see Levi makes logical decisions even in the toughest situations. He may get angry, but judges based on logic. An important Levi trait is authority over feelings, things we rarely see in fictional characters, which is understandable. Making choices in brutal situations based on logic and self-mastery is hard, especially with mortal conditions like in this show. This relates to philosophy psychology regarding self-control and our soul controlling us. It was in that moment Levi became curious to understand this guy's viewpoint and intentions, a clause that deeply affected Levi and spread to Eren, creating one of the best duos in the series. The relationship between Levi and Erwin. Eren regarded Levi as a strong fighter, which was his ideal and influenced him to become a professional warrior like him. Many people may find this scene questionable when they first see Levi beating Eren in the first season. People inside the walls were facing a human, turning into a Titan for the first time. All those questions that came into their heads stemmed from their fear of the Titans, so most of them couldn't trust Eren in any situation. While this disagreement, even in the court, took so long that they put a gun to Eren's head and were likely to kill him, this memorable sequence happened. Levi beat Eren severely. It's obvious that seeing this scene is extremely painful.
これは持論だが、しつけに一番効くのは痛みだと思う。今お前に必要なのは、言葉による教育ではなく教訓だ。しゃがんでるからちょうど蹴りやすいしな。
Let's pause for a moment. It's time to take a second look at the situation and examine Levi's reasons for his actions. As I mentioned earlier, many people in the court were distrustful of Eren and wished to kill him. Even Niall told Levi that Eren had the potential to turn into a Titan again, but Levi's intention was to demonstrate control over Eren to all the people. Even though Eren turned into a Titan, he took control of it and stopped himself from harming people. Saving Eren caused unbelievable growth in killing Titans for the people inside the walls, because they learned to trust Eren. Eren's supervision was taken over by Levi because when Erwin and Levi met him in jail, Eren expressed his desire to kill all the Titans and join the Survey Corps. Levi's decision saved Eren's life and encouraged people to keep moving forward. In this sequence, the female Titan attacks them. Levi shares his experience of losing his friends and Erwin's speech with Eren.
エレン、お前と俺たちとの判断の相違は経験則に基づくものだ。だがな、そんなもんは当てにしなくていい。選べ。自分を信じるか、俺やこいつら調査兵団組織を信じるかだ。俺にはわからない。ずっとそうだ。自分の力を信じても、信頼に至る仲間の選択を信じても、結果は誰にもわからなかった。だから、まあせいぜい、悔いが残らない方を自分で選べ。
At first, Eren decided to trust in his comrades. When Levi visits Erwin to check on their plan, the female Titan assaults Levi's squad and kills every one of them. But Levi's reaction? His colleagues were all dead and their blood, soaked corpses, were everywhere. This is another scene where we can clearly see Levi's control over his emotions. It seems, after all, that has happened. He knows there are no choices left except to keep moving forward. Even saving Eren from the female Titan, which is quite a thrilling fight scene. He didn't even take a moment of solace or anger. He just had to keep moving, keep fighting, keep doing his part, a part that was done perfectly. We won't see him complaining or whining about it, or even expressing his grief, a grief that must be a heavy burden for humanity's strongest soldier. Now we have reached the two most important episodes. Season 3, Episode 17, Hero. I remember asking one of my friends who they thought the hero was, and she said, everyone. Well, I think the same way as she does. They were all heroes in their own way. Now, we will watch the sequence with Erwin and Levi in this episode, where the Beast Titan was attacking them and they had to decide what to do. The one dialogue that people sometimes joke about, but I guess has a lot to discuss, was Levi telling Erwin, "Give up on your dreams and die." Erwin decided to sacrifice himself for humanity, and when he was so close to achieving his goal of seeing the truth of the world, he chose to step aside. This sacrifice doesn't just end with Erwin, but includes all the soldiers there. They had to do it to keep humanity alive and awake. While Levi told Erwin to give up his dreams and die, regardless of all the meaning Erwin held for him, they were trying to achieve their aim. It's obvious that trying to accomplish a goal is 100 necessary. But sometimes you have to give up on your dreams to make them come true.
全くもって無意味だ。どんなに夢や希望を持っていても。幸福な人生を送ることができたとしても、岩で体を砕かれても同じだ。人はいずれ死ぬ。ならば人生には意味がないのか。そもそも生まれてきたことに意味はなかったのか。死んだ仲間もそうなのか。あの兵士たちも無意味だったのか。いや違う。あの兵士たちに意味を与えるのは我々だ。あの勇敢な死者を、哀れな死者を思うことができるのは聖者である我々だ。我々はここで死に、次の聖者に意味を託す。それこそ唯一この残酷な世界に抗う術なのだ。兵士を怒れ、兵士を叫べ、兵士を戦え。
Erwin and all the Survey Corps' dream was the key to saving more people, so that others could move forward and face the truth. And Levi's fighting scene with the Beast Titan and the promise he made that he never forgot. It's vital to keep moving, even in dire situations. Continuing to part 18, the question that has been asked many times with various answers: Erwin or Armin? We won't answer that here, as it's been discussed extensively. This is about Levi's steadfast personality in dire situations. Both characters play effective roles, and now we'll discuss the key plot. At first, Levi chose to save Erwin. This wasn't about emotions or personal attachment to Erwin. He made that decision because he thought it was the better option for saving humanity with potentially less regret.
Erwin.
先生、壁の外に人類がいないってどうやって調べたんですか?
But he changed his mind and chose Armin. There were several reasons behind this. Hearing the dialogue between Armin, Mikasa, and Eren, where Armin pointed out his dream was not just seeing the underground of Levi's home, but seeing the ocean affected him.
それだけじゃないよ。海だ。商人が一生かけても取り尽くせないほどの巨大な塩の湖がある。壁の外にあるのは巨人だけじゃないよ。
Even though Eren said his goal was revenge, Armin never had such an impure purpose. And Eren told Levi, "The one who will save humanity is not me or the commander, but Armin."
トロストクを岩で塞いで守ることができたのも、兄の正体を見抜いたのも、夜間に侵攻することを思いついたのもアルミンだ。潜んでいたライナーを暴き出したのも、ベルトルトを倒すことができたのも、全部アルミンの力だ。人類を救うのは俺でも団長でもない、アルミンだ。そうだろミカサ。
Moreover, Levi felt Erwin needed rest. Even when injecting the serum, he remembered Kenny's words.
みんな何かに酔っ払ってねえとやってられなかったんだな。
Erwin's mission versus Armin's mission. Ultimately, what he said after saving Armin was remarkable.
こいつを許してやってくれないか。こいつは悪魔になるしかなかった。それを望んだのは俺たちだ。その上、一度は地獄から解放されたこいつを再び地獄に呼び戻そうとした。だがもう休ませてやらねえと。
That was how Erwin devoted his heart. Levi stayed steadfast despite emotions, focused on humanity's future. In Season 4 Part 1, when Zeke turned all of Levi's squad into Titans and wanted to escape, Levi had to decide to kill all his comrades, else Zeke would get away. He was in a difficult situation that even Zeke didn't think Levi would do it. But Levi's sense of responsibility led him to stop Zeke no matter what. Again, we see him controlling his emotions with logic when confronting the man who killed all his comrades, not rushing to strike him down until the right moment for a reason. In the blaze of fire, not even Levi expected Zeke to make that drastic decision. After the fire, Levi was mortally injured, yet when he comes to, he is still thinking of defeating Zeke because of the promise he made and his will to remain a fighter. Despite unimaginable loss, Levi stays focused on his mission through stoic logic. He makes the hardest choices for humanity's sake, never compromising his principles. This mental fortitude makes him heroic. Lastly, Hanji's death sequence. She made sure to give everything for humanity and help others move forward in the same way. After all these years of struggling and facing much misery, it seems nothing can break Levi and Hanji. Death in war was likely one of the first things Levi, along with everyone else, had to confront, and he did. It appears war is not a place to involve emotions to save someone else. The aim of this war was preserving humanity's freedom to grant liberty to those imprisoned and tortured inside the walls without knowing the outside world. A bitter pill that hurts people's hearts. Despite unimaginable loss and pain, Levi persists in the fight for freedom. He swallows the bitter pill of sacrifice, never compromising his duty. This commitment makes him a complex and admirable character. The story of characters who touched us deeply, and the final conversation between Hanji and Levi, brings to mind the trio of Levi, Hanji, and Erwin, the gold trio who devoted their hearts, no matter what,